episode of Heart's Desire is brought to you by Vincini Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet Coffee. The only coffee you will ever need, every time, everywhere, every day.
Yes, my darling Roderick, going back to the island is the best decision we can make. We will enjoy the long ocean voyage. We will be away from the pressures of Crane City and the threats looming over us from the evil Cranston. Once we are safely back to the security and remoteness of the island, we can rebuild our own little paradise. Yes, yes, my dearest.
Yes, my precious Millicent. You know that you mean the world to me. And you know that we felt truly secure on that island. And we will be secure once again once we arrive back there. Cranston cannot find us there. And he will never bother to come looking for us, either, my dearest sweet darling. Yes, yes, my dear Millicent, the island is the solution?
Yes.
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 Yes, Roderick, we will be safe and secure once again, and we can recapture and relive the joy and bliss that we experienced on our own little paradise. We can have it all back once again, dear Roderick. We can be happy again at long last.
Food Vincini Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet Coffee. Make some today, any day, every day. Ultra Deluxe Triple Star Gourmet.
It's not just an opinion, it's your opinion. Tune into Opinion Radio. Dodo. Tune into Opinion Radio. Go, 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 go.
Hi, this is Ronson Gilroy here with CRZY, and it's time for our call-in show where viewers voice their opinions. Our topic today is Flashy the Paper Doll. Do you support her or do you support the efforts to find and apprehend her? Call CRZY and tell us what you think. And we have a caller on the line now. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Here's Uncle Frank. My friends and neighbors call me Uncle Frank. I'm not going to give you my last name here on the air, but yeah, I remember this whole mess started a few weeks ago. Me and Aunt Suki gone down there to Grifty's to get us both a double, and we was sitting there, and I seen Flashy come running by in front of Grifty's, and then not 10 seconds later, some damn clown came chasing after her with a pair of scissors. And I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 days later, Aunt Suki and I gone over there to Dead Center Park where all them skateboarders hang out, and we seen that clown hang himself from the Statue of Liberace. And I told Suki, and I said, "Now, that's a crazy one there." I said, even crazier than that was that Flashy the Paper Doll, or whatever she's called. I don't know where she came from or what she is, but by God, I think they need to catch her. I think they need to get her off the streets. I don't see how she possibly could be anything good can come out of any of this. Well, thank you. That's
Well,
all I've
hi,
got to
Ronson.
say.
I guess I'm caller number 2. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I see Flashy as a symbol, as a metaphor for feminine rights, and I see her situation as a modern-day allegory for the struggle that women have been going through for thousands of years. I was thrilled as I could be to see her appear on that television talk show the other night. That took an awful lot of guts, an awful lot of courage for her to do that. I think all women everywhere should rally to her cause and champion her.
interview. Hey there, little listeners. Your solid sound man, Lead Stuff Gowl here with another scintillating interview, this time with Farrell Stringer of the Yo-Yos. How in the world did you guys break into the pop scene, Farrell? Well, we were all strung out in the early days, you know. Things were really up and down for the Yo-Yos. And oh my God, I had just about had it until I woke up one night after having slept for like 72 hours. That's how we lived back then, awake for 4 days, asleep for 3. And all of a sudden I wrote our first hit on the back of a paper towel. Oh, I remember that one. What you doing, little baby? Went to the top of the charts like a bullet, Stringer. Yeah, that whiny falsetto at the end of that run was my idea. The other yo-yos thought I had gone bonkers, but the teeny boppers loved it and ate it up. Stringer, boy, did they ever. Is that how those glow-in-the-dark yo-yos got started at your concerts? Well, there was this sweet little groupie from Allentown, Pennsylvania, who threw out all her John Mellencamp records and ran off with our band. Gee, she was something. She was on this cute little yo-yo that had a whiny sound when you did the walk the dog with it. And, of course, it lit up and glowed in the dark. We all stayed pretty lit in those days, too. Well, hello, good people of Murgatroyd. It's your favorite resident artist, Blatson the Artist here, to tell you about my latest art exhibit. Yes, Flashy the Paper Doll is the subject of my show. She's so minimalist. She's so bare bones. She's the ultimate abstraction. And these idiotic humans who hate her, they don't understand what she is. They don't grasp the significance of Flashy. And that idiot Imogene Furkowski, who keeps trashing my art, boy, have I got my revenge planned up for her. I'm sure you're familiar with another artist named Andres Serrano. Well, I'm going to find an old yearbook from back when Imogene Furkowski was known as Imogene Slutkowski. And I'm going to cut pictures of Imogene out, and I'm going to submerge them in a big jar of a certain bodily fluid. I'll just let you good people of Murgatroyd figure out what that bodily fluid's going to be. Yes, the next one is going to be called Images of Imogene. And I'm sure she'll love that art exhibit. Oh, yes, she will.
Well now, gee whiz. I am so glad and so relieved that not all humans hate me. The nice skateboarders from Dead Center Park all love me and have rallied to my support. And now the artist Blatson has made me the subject of his latest art exhibit. I feel so very, very honored. Oh. This is my very first time to visit an art exhibit, much less one that is based on me. Thank you, skateboarders. Thank you, Blatson.
Tempest by Rich Vernado. Chapter 1. A blazing full moon hung in dark, smoky sky, casting shadows from the magnolia trees onto the crowd of black faces on the courtyard of the great windswept plantation. The sadistic slave master stood upon a scaffold and announced, "This vile wench has been charged with insubordination, with attempting to aid and abet a rebellion, and fomenting an insurrection." He pointed at a thin, mulatto-skinned slave girl whose arms were tied up in the air to a flogging pole. Vixuna, the beautiful red-haired Irish mistress of the plantation, marched up the stairs of the scaffold and stepped onto the wooden platform. "I demand that this entire spectacle cease at once." The moon caught a gleam in her fierce, angry Irish eyes. Tempestor, the slave master and her former lover, looked into her eyes briefly and then averted his own eyes away from her captivating stare. He knew in his heart that her will would always possess his own and that he was himself a slave to her every wish, command, and desire.
"Untie her at once." The eyes of the slave girl begged for mercy. Tempestor untied the ropes from the wrists of the bound girl. "But an example has to be made," he insisted. Vixuna responded, "Unlike you, I do not condone brutality." She shot him a piercing glance that sent a very clear message. He felt intense feelings towards her rekindle inside him. A mixture of lustful desire and resentment at her power over him. Vixuna addressed the slave girl Matilda as Tempestor untied her. "You may have the day off from any labor tomorrow to rest up." Matilda bowed slightly and gave Vixuna a thankful glance. She then walked quickly off the wooden platform, her head lowered, down the stairs into the crowd of onlooking slaves below who were wailing and sighing with relief. Vixuna glared at Tempestor. "I will not have it said that I am a merciless mistress." Tempestor turned and began walking, shaking his head. Vixuna looked down at the sea of black faces and told them, "You may all return to your quarters, now, this little show has ended." Vixuna went down the long, tree-lined pathway to the massive wooden doors of the palatial windswept-in mansion, a massive castle-like structure. She pushed open the huge doors and a tall, very dark black man bowed slightly as she entered. "Good evening, Miss Vixuna." She glanced at him and nodded, then walked through to the foyer to the two massive doors of the drawing room. As an instant reflex that appeared almost instinctive, Cardon the servant pushed the doors open for her. "The usual drink, madam?" he asked. Vixuna nodded, then walked to the huge bar and accepted the glass of brandy once it had been poured. She walked to the glowing fireplace and looked at the flames within it and began speaking. "Cardon, do you have any notion what this raging fire brings to my mind? The fragrance of hell, that's what it represents to me. And the faces of my poor subjects outside tonight. What I saw was the preponderance of the disenchanted. And why shouldn't they be disenchanted? And when I looked into Tempestor's face, I saw only the flavors of mead."
Pop interview number 449. And tonight, it's Lead Stuff Gal's historic interview with Monica Gdansk of the Silly Boys. I'm here, not so gentle reader, with the former lead singer of the Silly Boys, Monica Gdansk. So, Monica, tell me about the Silly Boys. Well, I was really unsure of myself when we first started, and I had this psychiatrist from San Diego who told me, "You will leave the group, but you will come back." Well, I took that as an omen and a prophecy of my destiny. So I did leave, and then I came back. Yes, Monica, I think you did that like 16 times? 17 times, actually. I'd leave the group, and then I'd come back. And every time, Monica, you did, your group had another hit. What do you attribute that to? Fate, destiny, the universe, and, of course, the hoopla and media hype every time I would come back didn't hurt either. Pop star interview number 6000 by Lead Stuff Gowl. Today, for our historic interview number 6000, we have Wiggle Wrongly of the band Emaciated Butterfly. So tell me about yourself, Wiggle. Well, our band was named after this delicate little moth-like creature that fluttered into a cobweb by the window of my flat. It got stuck there, and I watched it for days as it slowly withered away, and I said, bingo, there's the name for our band. Wow, Wiggle. So tell me about the protest that your band got the bright idea when it made the remark publicly, Emaciated Butterfly is bigger than Buddha, that it would sell millions of records. Boy, was I ever wrong. Almost overnight, all these Chinese and Tibetan monks were smashing and torching our records, having big demonstrations covered on international television. It was a fiasco and a disaster all rolled into one. But Wiggle? It created an artificial collector's market for all your early releases. Oh, yes. We figured so many thousands of our records were destroyed that there may only be 762 copies left in existence of our early hits. Maybe Why Do I Cry? Some teenage groupie in Cleveland even sold a copy of it on eBay for $500.
Baby, oh baby, baby, why do I cry? Baby, oh baby, baby, why do I cry? Why do I cry? Why do I cry? Oh, oh baby, oh why do I cry? Baby, oh baby, oh why do I cry? Baby, oh baby, why do I cry? Oh, why do I cry? Why? Tell me, why do I cry? Tell me why. Oh, do I cry? Why? Oh, do I cry?
Episode of Heart's Desire is brought to you by Vincini Cosmetics, makes a Vincini face cream, for the little Ms. Fancy Pants in your family slide up to cologne, and for her brother the new Whiplash 5 aftershave, and of course for the whole family there's Uncle Crud Bucket's Basic Lime Thigh Cream. Well, my dearest darling Roderick, we have finally made it back here to own Private Island. Safe at last from the evil Cranston and the pressures of Crane City. We can relax and build a fire and look up at the sky, and whether or not we believe it or not, we are here now. Safe at last. Back on our own remote private island.
Yes, my sweet precious Millicent, we have indeed finally made it back here to own wonderful little island, where we are finally safe at last from the evil Cranston and the turmoil of Crane City. We can swim and fish and build a campfire and gaze up at the stars in the sky at night. And whether or not we believe it or not, we really are here now. Secure at last. Back on our own little
Cosmetics Corporation announces this exciting new line of products. Whiplash 5. Give that chunky hunk of brawny maleness the gift that will keep him giving what he likes to put out best. Whiplash 5 gives that implied scent of manly essence with that pure hint of gentle ruggedness. Little Suzette. One dash of the subtly sublime fragrance and that overgrown damsel in your corner will kiss her Victorian virginity to the four winds. New from Vincini Cosmetics.
It's magnificent. It's a 30-yard touchdown for Emmett Jean Slokowski. Yes, Emmett Jean Slokowski of the Murgatroyd Slayers has scored the winning touchdown.
Imogen Slokowski here at CRZY. I thought I had seen it all, little lady, but this latest outrage from Blatson is even more disgusting than this previous art exhibit. Yes, our local wannabe artist has now staked his dubious claim to fame on championing this vile creature called Flashy the Paper Doll. So here we have a degenerate artist elevating a degenerate life form to cult status. By doing an art exhibit which glorifies this base scrap of subhuman garbage, Blatson in effect is simply creating more garbage masquerading as modern art. My father, Dr. Hubert Slokowski, is absolutely correct when he denounces Flashy as an abomination. The ghastly little thing was artificially created in a laboratory. She is the result of science gone wild. The freak product of a bio-research outfit tampering with things that humanity has no business tampering with. And the so-called attempt to locate and apprehend her has fallen as flat as everything else coming from Flat Town and Murgatroyd always does. Mayor Perensky should resign. And this joke of a detective, Lieutenant Skitters, can't even manage to locate and apprehend a damn paper doll, much less the Murgatroyd serial killer that has claimed 21 victims in the past 4 years. Honestly now, time to shut your windows and lock your doors, little lady. The lunatics of Murgatroyd have very definitely taken over this asylum called Murgatroyd. This has been Imogen Slokowski at CRZY News. Have a very good evening, little ladies. Good night.
I have honed my fighting skills to defend myself against the evil humans when the time comes and it becomes necessary. No human shall defeat me and no human shall harm Flashy. It is my destiny to save her and to overcome them all. The road was long and steep, and the journey has been very, very hard. But now, at long last, the end of the journey has arrived. I am here in Murgatroyd. And I am coming to save you, Flashy. And wherever you are, I will find you.
Of a wooden creature walking in the woods near Flat Town continue, and some reports are coming in from the outskirts of Murgatroyd as well. The nature and identity of this wooden creature remains unknown. This has been a CRZY News Bulletin. Have a good evening, viewer.
News alert. CRZY News Bulletin alert. Bulletin alert. Good evening, viewers. There are scattered reports coming in from around the city of a walking, talking wooden male figure. Citizens are urged not to approach this being, whatever it is, because reports from Dead Center Park indicate that this wooden figure may be hostile in nature. Two skateboarders allege that this wooden figure pushed them out of its way and down on the ground as it made its way through Dead Center Park about an hour ago. Where this creature is headed remains unknown at this point in time, but local authorities here in Murgatroyd urge any citizens to please report the whereabouts of this creature if you do see it anywhere. Repeating, do not approach this wooden figure, as it appears to behave in a hostile manner. Thank you. This has been a CRZY News Alert Bulletin.
My dear Flashy. Welcome back to your creator, Dr. Getrick. If you wonder how I summoned you here to me, I confess I must tell you something about yourself that you do not yet know. When you were created, a special chip was implanted inside you that allows me to send out a beacon signal, so to speak, to draw you back here to the laboratory in which you were born. I am sure you wonder why I brought you here. It's quite simple, Flashy. You may recall me telling you that there is another creation similar to you. Well, guess what, my dear Flashy? Wood Pulp Boy is on his way. And I assure you that he is on his way here now, to this lab, because I saw the news bulletins earlier about the sightings of him here in Murgatroyd. He's coming for you, Flashy. But I must warn you. The early formula used to create him rendered him much more aggressive than you are, just as he is thicker and more wood-like in nature. And so we wait. We wait here for Wood Pulp Boy to arrive back here to the very place where you were both created.
Let me guess. You brilliant sleuths down at the Murgatroyd police station found out about this new one, this wooden man, the same way I did. Off the damn television news. Well, by God, I want to know what it is, where it came from, what the hell it's doing here, and any damn thing else you can find out about this thing. Oh, I don't expect much. Imogen Slakowski has made a mockery of the whole damn department when she got on the TV the other night and said, Lieutenant Skitters can't even find a damn paper doll. Well, she's right. And she even called for my resignation. Well, if you don't find Flashy and whatever the hell this new wooden thing is, there's going to be some heads rolling, and they ain't going to be mine. You're dismissed, Lieutenant Skitters.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Whoa! It's Dr. Hubert Slokowski here from the Divine Humanity Church. I want to welcome you all, my wonderful, wonderful listeners, my wonderful and wonderful children. I'm sure you've seen the warnings and bulletins on the TV about this new wooden thing walking around, this new creature. Well, it too, just like Flashy the paper doll, it too, my children, is an abomination. It's a travesty. It's some sort of an artificially created life form. It's not divine like humans. It's subhuman. The world is overrun with subhumans. But you got to hold fast, hold steadfast. Don't be afraid of these degenerate creatures. These are tools of Satan. They're merely pawns of the devil. They're sent here to scare you and to frighten you and to shake you up. And they're merely subhumans. They're just degenerates. And the world is overrun with subhumans. But you've got to stay strong and hold fast, my dear wonderful children. And this has been my little pep talk. And this is Dr. Hubert Sikowski. And please send your donations here to the Divine Humanity Cathedral. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Well, good evening again, little ladies. Imogene Slokowski here at CRZY tonight. At long last, I am going to take on the jerk who has been terrorizing Murgatroyd for 4 years now. That lame, pitiful excuse of a man who has been labeled the Murgatroyd serial killer. Why does he prey upon innocent young women at random, you might ask? I will tell you why. It is because this ineffectual loser is incapable of meeting and carrying on a normal relationship with a woman. He is probably impotent, completely incapable of satisfying a woman even if he tried, so he uses a knife instead of that other tool that most normal men use all too effectively. This pathetic pervert attacks women violently because he is incapable of making love to them. So here we are, 21 victims later, because some deranged, maladjusted jerk cannot function normally. Honestly now, when is Lieutenant Skitters finally going to identify and apprehend this demented, pathetic creep? Honestly now, lock your windows and doors, little lady. And keep them locked while this dreadful loser continues to stalk Murgatroyd City. This has been Imogene Slokowski. Thank you, little ladies, for listening tonight. Have a good evening now, everyone.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Well, so, Imogene Slokowski, you couldn't be satisfied just taking on the mayor and paper dolls. You had to go after me, you vile wench, questioning my masculinity, not recognizing the magnificence of my work. There you are, all high and mighty, in your little ivory news tower, looking down on everyone else. And like the rest of these fools in Murgatroyd, I used to be one of your biggest fans until you started calling me names, telling the world I'm a pathetic loser. Well, yes, I chose my first 21 victims at random, Imogene, but now you're going to be my first non-random victim. Yes, Imogene, I'm coming for you, and you will be the next victim of the Murgatroyd serial killer.
Recorded live.
Good evening. This is Ronson Kilroy of CRZY News, interviewing the new candidate for Senator Anderson Quint Jr. Mr. Quint, why did you decide to run?
Well, as you well know, my father, the late Senator Anderson Quint, was assassinated just a couple of months back, and he spent a long career as a senator from here, Murgatroyd City. He represented Flattown. He represented Sawmill City. As you know, he brought the paper doll factory originally to this town with all of its thousands of jobs. And for many, many, many different reasons, it's time that I stepped up to the plate, tried to fill my dad's shoes, tried to do what he did and try to become a senator to represent this area. For one thing, there's a serial killer running loose that's claimed 21 victims now. And the mayor, God bless him, is as nice as a man as Paransky may be. Mayor Paransky is inept. He's not up to this. And this so-called investigator in charge of the serial killer investigation, Lieutenant Skitters, I know him. He's way over his head. He is not qualified, and they've never dealt with a serial killer before. We need to get some real experts in here. We need to get outside help to catch this killer. This has been going on for 4 years, and the body count just keeps going. And one of the first things I'll do if I'm elected senator is solve the Murgatroyd serial killer problem. I will see to it that the perpetrator is apprehended.
Is it true, sir, that Vincini Cosmetics is a major campaign contributor to your campaign? And is Fudiki Hiromoto, the Japanese business magnate, also a campaign contributor?
Well, it's much, much, much too early at this point. I'm not ready to discuss campaign contributors at this point. All of that will be revealed, when the time comes, when it's necessary, when we're closer to the election. But let me just say this about the lovely and wonderful Judy Vincini, whom, as you know, had a long-term relationship with my father, the late Senator Quint. She is the CEO of the Vincini Corporation. She's a wonderful lady. Let me just say that on a personal level, I regard Judy Vincini as a close personal friend. And, of course, as I said, I'm not going to name any contributors at this early stage, but all contributions are welcome to my election, and I appreciate all campaign contributions. Now, as to Fudiki Hiromoto, he is as you know, the Japanese business magnate who originally brought the paper doll factory to Murgatroyd to begin with, and now that it is burned down, he's in the process of trying to rebuild it and restore all of those jobs that were lost when Apron Head destroyed the paper doll factory, to bring all those jobs back to Murgatroyd. So I do consider Fudiki Hiromoto a great asset to Murgatroyd City, to Flattown, to Sawmill City, to this entire area. And once again, at this stage, I'm not ready to discuss campaign contributions.
What is your position on Flashy the Paper Doll?
I'm glad you brought that up. Well, first of all, she has rights. For one thing, she may not be completely human, and she may be artificially created, but she does possess human DNA. Therefore, she has human rights, and I believe those human rights are guaranteed by the Constitution. On this issue, I completely disagree with Imogene Slakowski, and it's not the only issue with which Imogene and I are in disagreement. And, of course, her father, Hubert Slakowski of the Divine Humanity Cathedral. They have both called Flashy an abomination, and as you know, both Mayor Paransky and Lieutenant Skitters are wasting their time trying to find Flashy the Paper Doll when they need to be concentrating on apprehending the serial killer. So if I'm elected senator, I will support the rights of Flashy the Paper Doll, her human rights. And you'll note already that Flashy has popular support. The skateboarders in Dead Center Park have been picketing. They've been rallying, advocating for her human rights. And a number of the general public, the general population supports Flashy. They support her. They do not agree with Mayor Paransky, Lieutenant Skitters, or Imogene Slakowski and her father Hubert. So I support Flashy, and she has popular support.
Well, we hope you have popular support, too, in the upcoming election. Thank you, Anderson Quint, for this interview.
Thank you very much, Ronson Kilroy. It's been a pleasure.